What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today we're taking a look at the Bitcoin price chart, which has had some serious price action this morning and yesterday afternoon. We have been following what's been happening with Bitcoin for quite a few months and noticing that we've been following a 5.5 month long bear market fractal for Bitcoin here. This was taken from back in 2018. When I left you guys off last week, we were talking about the beginning of this week. If this thing was going to continue doing what it was doing, that the beginning of this week would be the interesting moment. Guess what? It's the beginning of the week. It's interesting. We've got some serious action happening in here. We'll zoom in on what's going on with the price charts in here to see. We've been following this thing still right on time. So we'll set this thing up properly right down in here, right on the bottom. And we'll take a closer look at what's going on. So what we know happened back in 2018 is after this whole fractal played out, it was a trend line backtest. So for Bitcoin to have a trend line backtest, we could see it literally just happened, right? So is it going to hold right there and continue to hold this fractal at this point? We'll have to see. One thing that we can do, I was showing this over there on Twitter throughout the weekend, is to try to kind of modify this, right? We saw that this fall was taking place. We saw where this was holding up at in here, had its dip, and then now you see here we go. These are 2-hour candles, right? Here we are. We had our 2-hour candle fall right on time. In order for this thing to continue following, what would you expect? Relatively soon, within the next 2 to 4 hours, some type of pop back up to about 39,000, hovering in there and still continuing to range in here for several days if this does continue. Now, like I keep saying, it makes me uncomfortable that it's followed it for so long. It's becoming real public knowledge at this point now. But what's so interesting about it too is if we have it lined up like that, right? Where do we get our retrace back to? You get it right back to that 702 Fibonacci retracement, which is the thing I'm looking for, right? So I'm in the belief that Bitcoin is in a bear market, but I'm also in the belief that Bitcoin doesn't go down in a straight line because it historically does not. But what's so significant about that 702 retracement in there is we can see this was that initial top from the big massive run that took place back in 2020 and early 2021, right there at 58,100. That was the stopping point. That also happens to be our 702 Fibonacci retracement. Also relatively a zone that it was unable to clear through. And we could see this is the area we were bouncing around in here before we ended up having a bigger breakdown. And this is normal in this type of structure that you go back to this area right in here. So everything is still pointing back to a retracement happening in here. Question is, are we going to continue following in this type of manner? With how Bitcoin looks right now, I've presented my two theories or ideas on the way it could do it. One, it just continues to do what it's done for 5.5 months. It does it for another month, make it 6.5 months total. It just continues to do exactly what it's doing. I think it's reasonable to say, hey, that's possible considering it's followed it for 5.5 months. But also from experience, I know that these things do break away from them at some point, which is why we keep discussing Bitcoin from the inverse price structure. It's why I posted it over here on Twitter, and we talk about it here on the channel all the time. Is that in these inverse structures, it's very common for one new level to get hit. And since this is Bitcoin in an upside down structure, getting up in here puts you, somewhere between $30,000 to $33,000 if that structure maintains. But at the same time, this thing has yet to break away from itself. And right now, this morning, as I'm recording this, we're in the thick of the moment. We're in the heat of the moment. When I upload this thing could look totally different. If you're watching this 6 hours after it's been uploaded, it could look totally different. I fully believe this is a very defining moment that's happening for Bitcoin right now. Throughout history, we've seen moments of when alt seasons have begun or when alt seasons have taken place. They've taken place either when Bitcoin's breaking out into an all-time high or as Bitcoin's going through its topping process. And in 2018, we saw the end of the altcoin season happen as Bitcoin went in for its retracement. So if this structure is to hold right here, we would essentially be beginning our retracement. And in 2018, as Bitcoin went into its retracement, into its 702 Fibonacci retracement, that's where we saw the blow-off tops come in for the altcoins. So today, is this going to hold? Is this going to be the start of a retracement? And will we get our answers on if we're going to have an alt season going into the retracement? It's an intense moment. And no matter how we place this thing, right? I mean, we can just see, the decision is going to happen here right now. Is this going to keep going or is this going to be the end of it? Structurally, from the falls, I mean, we can look at these things right in here and how these all happened in here. We'll put these just like right next to each other. That's it, right? You got your dip, you got your last dip. you got your big fall, everything right on time, just like it's all been right on time. If it's going to continue, we're there. We're there. And what we know throughout history is that there's been alt seasons at the top. And so now we're going to just start trying to see if we can get the answer to that question, if we're going to get one or not. And what we know in 2018 is the actual alt season and the blow off top that happened all ended as Bitcoin went back into the retracement. So if the retracement is begun right now, hopefully those answers are right around the corner. As for things that I could say in regards to what's happening right now, I think I pretty much built the whole case all last week, and especially last Friday. And right now we're just in the moment. So I'm going to keep this video actually pretty short right here. There's not much more to say. We see exactly what's happening right in here, and this is our moment to hold for Bitcoin if this thing is going to continue. So I'm going to keep this video relatively short to give me some extra energy to be able to try to do a live stream later today. And that way we can go through this in the thick of the moment, because I would suspect something's going to happen here. Either we're going to get this firing back up action that's going to happen like we've continued to see, or we see the deviation happen. And I think the deviation happening would be a monumental moment in this market, considering it's followed it for 5.5 months. And if it holds, it's also a monumental moment because that would indicate the beginning of a 702 Fibonacci retracement. Again, we don't know if it's going to go to 702, but we see the fractal lineup to say it does. And we know in 2018, when Bitcoin topped and went into its retracement, it also went into a 702 retracement. And that's where the altcoin season explosive tops came in. So all eyes are on this today. What a way to start the week. Either it's the start of a crazy moment happening in this market where a retrace starts coming in, or we see what happens in these structures all the time, where a new level gets taken out and Bitcoin falls to like 30 or 33, which would completely break this thing, right? If we go set a new low, that breaks this thing is officially done. But right now, with where we're at, 37.5, the story is getting told. So I'll keep this brief. I'll get it out quickly early this morning for you guys. I hope that you're all doing well. Welcome to the new week. We're in the heat of the moment. It's the exciting part. Big story getting told right now for Bitcoin. Otherwise, I'll wrap this thing up. Thank you so much for watching. If you're looking for something to do, of course, you could check out my website over here, bcbacker.com. I won't go through the whole thing. It's a course I put together where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, previous altcoin market cycles, and I tie them all together to show you how the cryptocurrency market has worked in the past. And I teach you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. And you can check out this educational content over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.